Good evening. I'm from a small town called Brooklyn. I'm thrilled to hear somebody heard of it. That's great. That's great. And I was born of an Italian father and a Jewish mother, very common in New York City. And my father was shorter than me, which is hard to do, but he was as wide as me from the length. He had a 5'5" chest. Okay, that's what I thought it was. He was a pretty intimidating small man who was not small by any means. And we were living in a 2-story apartment. We were in the first floor, and the landlord lived upstairs. And the first memory that I ever had, if I'm going to put this away. The first memory I ever have in my life is my mother throwing my rocking chair at my father, and he deflected it, and it hit me. And I was so stunned, I didn't even move. And I could see then. And it's imprinted in my brain, that first memory. And to give you some context, but very short, it was a very abusive situation. Not only between my parents, but them to my sister, who was 2 and I was 3, in my memory. It was very difficult. My mother came home one night while my father was away on business, and she had a man with her that I never saw, and she packing her clothes feverishly, running to get everything and put it in bags and suitcases. And I came in the bedroom, her bedroom, and said, "Mommy, where you going? Where you going, on a trip?" And she said, "Get out of here." And it was very difficult for me because I didn't understand. And every time I asked her, "Where are you going?" she would hit me, and hit me hard. And again, my second memory is this beating that I took from my mother when she was finally decided to leave my father. And it was really a challenge, as you could imagine. And that's the last time I ever saw my mother. When my father came home, I was in the hospital, and I got fixed up. And all I had was a broken heart at that time. And it was hard to really get through the transition I was about to have, because my father worked 18 hours a day and he could not raise us. So he had us go live with my grandmother. And little did I know that was going to be the biggest blessing of my life. My grandmother was the best lady in the whole world. And I really owe her an enormous gratitude, because it was fun. We played, we ate amazing food. She was a world-class Italian chef, like anybody who's Italian could probably do. I had my share of meatballs. And I had a ball as a young boy there. I remember so many wonderful things. And she disciplined us when we were bad, and we deserved it. One time she took a wooden spoon and hit me in the shoulder, and it broke. That was the last time she ever hit me. She's like, "I can't hit you, you break things." I was 4, I think, maybe 5. So things got more complicated because my father wanted us to go out and live with my aunt out in Bayshore, Long Island. And I wasn't excited about it, but I wasn't able to be part of the negotiation. We moved out there, and things were pretty difficult. I had fun, I have to admit it. I had fun. I had 2 cousins that were older than me. We had a great time, lots of fun memories, but there was a lot of bad memories too. Once again, I found myself in an abused situation. And the first time I'm ever going to say this in the world, it was more a sexual abuse problem when I was 5. And I have buried those memories in a really great spot, but tonight they come out. I couldn't, thank you. I feel honored because I feel like I'm with a whole house full of friends. So thank you for your generosity and your applause and your graciousness. This is hard to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it because you don't need to hear another thing. That was the punchline of that. And my grandmother and my father came out to see us on a Sunday, and my grandmother sat me down outside on the porch, and she said, "How's it going?" And I said, "Grandma, can I come live with you?" Lo and behold, she allowed it. My father fought her, but she won. We went back to Brooklyn, had a great time. And the most important thing I can tell you about my grandmother is that after a few years, and my father remarried, we lived together then in another situation that wasn't good. Couldn't wait to be an adult. And when I went blind on my 12th birthday, my grandmother took me in her apartment and said, "I'm going to teach you how to cook and clean." And I said, "Cook and clean? I'm 12. And she said, "Once you learn that, you will be independent for the rest of your life, and nobody will hurt you, and you'll always be able to make it in the world." I said, "Okay, how do we cook?" We chopped up onion and garlic, put it on the stove with oil in the pan, and I said, "What are we making?" And she said, "That's what we're going to figure out. That's what you start with." I said, "Oh my goodness, that's amazing." I love that smell. I was a little boy remembering that smell. And honestly, the most incredible thing was that my grandmother, the only way I can pay homage to her now for the last 30 years since she's passed, is that every January 10th, her birthday, and on Mother's Day, I wake up, grab a cutting board, chop up onions and garlic, throw it in the pan, and figure out what I'm going to have for my next meal. Thank you.